The crisp parchment felt heavy in Lila Turner's hand, its gilded edges catching the soft afternoon light. She turned the ornate invitation over, examining the embossed golden mask and the elegant script beneath. "You are cordially invited to a masquerade ball at the historic Rose Hill Mansion tomorrow evening, as the clock strikes 7. There was no signature, no indication of who had sent it. Lila's eyes narrowed in suspicion. As a seasoned investigative journalist, mysterious invitations didn't usually bode well for her. But her curiosity was insatiable, a trait that had both served and led her into danger in the past. She decided to attend. The following evening, Lila stood at the entrance of the imposing Rose Hill Mansion. She had chosen a dark velvet dress, her mask an ornate silver piece that accentuated her eyes while hiding most of her face. A cool breeze rustled the trees, making the shadows dance, as if the very mansion was alive with anticipation. Inside, the grand ballroom was awash with color and light. Crystal chandeliers hung from the high ceilings, their light reflecting off the polished marble floors. Guests swirled around in opulent gowns and sharp tuxedos, their faces hidden behind a menagerie of masks. Music from a live string quartet filled the air, providing a delicate backdrop to the murmurs of conversation. Lila gracefully moved among the attendees, her senses alert. She was here for more than just the festivities. Her instincts told her there was a story lurking within these walls. As she navigated the crowd, she overheard snippets of hushed conversations. "Heard it's been missing for decades. Priceless, they say, a true Rose Hill heirloom." She edged closer, trying to discern more about the stolen artifact. Just as she was piecing together the whispers, a haunting melody began, drawing all attendees to the center of the dance floor. Couples paired off, and the dance began, leaving Lila momentarily distracted by the mesmerizing sight. Unbeknownst to her, she was being observed. From the balcony above, a pair of eyes watched her every move, their intentions as hidden as the face behind the mask. The haunting melody continued, the violin strings resonating with an emotion that felt almost otherworldly. Lila watched, captivated by the elegance and precision of the dancers. The ballroom was a whirl of colors, a tapestry of masked faces and flowing fabrics. As she continued to observe, the room was suddenly plunged into darkness. Gasps echoed, and the music screeched to a halt. Somewhere in the distance, the soft patter of hurried footsteps and the muffled sounds of panic were audible. "Stay calm," a voice called out, echoing through the darkness. Lila reached into her purse, retrieving a small flashlight. As she clicked it on, the beam cut through the blackness, revealing panicked guests and overturned chairs. Guiding her way, she maneuvered through the crowd towards the center of the dance floor. Her heart sank when the light settled upon a chilling scene. A man, his face obscured by a detailed raven mask, lay motionless on the ground. His once white shirt now marred with a spreading stain of crimson. Murder. The lights flickered back to life, illuminating the ghastly tableau. Gasps and murmurs spread like wildfire as guests backed away, their faces a mix of shock and horror. Lila knelt beside the body, noting the absence of a pulse. The man had been struck from behind, a sharp object having found its mark. Surveying the room, Lila's investigative instincts kicked in. Among the attendees, old rivalries and resentments were well known in the town's social circles. She began mentally cataloging potential suspects, the wealthy heiress with rumored ties to the black market, the estranged brother with gambling debts, the spurned lover seeking revenge. Suddenly, an elderly woman, her face pale and eyes wide with shock, whispered to her companion, "It's just like the night the heirloom disappeared." The connection clicked for Lila. Was this murder related to the stolen artifact? From the crowd, an authoritative voice rang out. "No one leaves until the police arrive." But for Lila, the race to solve the mystery had already begun. She had a murder, a stolen artifact, and a ballroom full of suspects. The game was afoot. The echoing sirens in the distance signaled the imminent arrival of the police. The grand ballroom, which just moments ago had been the epitome of elegance, was now a chaotic scene of anxious whispers and pointing fingers. Taking advantage of the confusion, Lila slipped away, her intuition guiding her towards the mansion's less traveled corners. She had visited the mansion as a child and remembered the many hidden nooks and rooms it held. In the dimly lit hallway, she paused to admire a series of old family portraits. Their solemn faces seemed to hold a deeper story, one that was intertwined with the history of Rose Hill. As she moved further down the corridor, a slightly ajar door caught her attention. Pushing it open, she found herself in a dusty, forgotten attic. Moonlight streamed through a cracked window, illuminating stacks of old trunks and boxes. Lila began rummaging through them, looking for anything that might provide a clue. After some time, she discovered a stack of yellowed letters tied with a faded ribbon. Unraveling the ribbon, she began to read. The letters were a passionate exchange between two lovers, Eleanor, a member of the mansion's owning family, and Thomas, a staff member. Their love was secret, forbidden due to the rigid class structures of the time. Eleanor wrote of a gift she'd hidden for Thomas, a clue to ensure their future together, tied to the missing heirloom. Piqued with newfound interest, Lila carefully pocketed the letters and made her way downstairs. Guided by Eleanor's hints from the letters, she navigated to the sprawling gardens of Rose Hill. A stone pathway, bordered by roses and ivy, led her to a secluded alcove hidden by overgrown foliage. And there, partially buried beneath a loose stone, was a piece of the artifact, a delicate silver pendant with an intricate rose design. More interestingly, the pendant bore an inscription, a cryptic message that read, "To uncover the past, seek where music meets moonlight." As Lila pondered the meaning of the message, a rustling in the bushes alerted her to a presence. She wasn't alone in the garden. Lila could feel the tension in the air. The grand ballroom was now a crime scene, its guests potential witnesses, if not suspects. However, Lila's instincts urged her to look beyond the immediate chaos, to delve deeper into the mansion's storied past. Guided by old memories of rumors and tales about Rose Hill, Lila made her way to the grand library, a room not included in the evening's festivities. The towering bookshelves, lined with dusty volumes, gave off a musty scent, reminding Lila of the weight of history the mansion carried. Amid the volumes of history and fiction, Lila discovered a leather-bound journal with worn-out edges. Flipping it open, the elegant script inside hinted at it being a personal diary of one of the mansion's former residents. As she read, Lila was drawn into a tale from decades ago. The diary belonged to Isabel, a young woman of the mansion. Isabel wrote of her love for an outsider, a commoner, and the scandal it caused. The diary made numerous mentions of a precious artifact, a symbol of their forbidden love, which Isabel claimed to have hidden to protect it from those who disapproved. The diary led Lila to a sketch of the mansion's garden, marking a particular spot with an X. Intrigued, Lila decided to explore it. Exiting the mansion through a side door, she was immediately embraced by the cool night air. The garden, bathed in moonlight, seemed ethereal. Following the sketch's guidance, Lila arrived at a fountain that had seen better days, its waters long dried up. Hidden beneath a loose tile at the base of the fountain, Lila discovered a beautiful ornate box. Upon opening it, she was met with a piece of the long-lost artifact, a pendant shaped like a rose, glowing faintly in the moonlight. Yet, what intrigued Lila most was a note tucked inside the box, reading, "For love and memories, till we reunite under the same moon." A sudden rustling sound snapped Lila back to the present. Someone else was in the garden, and they were coming her way. The rhythmic ticking of the mansion's grand clock echoed through the hallways, a constant reminder that time was running out. Lila clutched the pendant tightly, its cool metal pressing into her palm as she swiftly retreated from the garden, avoiding the approaching footsteps. Inside, guests were corralled in the ballroom, their expressions a mix of fear, confusion, and indignation. Lila's journalist instincts kicked in. She needed to interview the potential suspects and connect the dots before the police took over entirely. The wealthy heiress, Clara, was her first target. Elegant even in distress, Clara's mask barely concealed the nervous flicker in her eyes. Lila's probing revealed Clara's deep interest in the artifact, not for its rumored treasure, but as a token to solidify her family's legacy. Next was Richard, the estranged brother of the deceased. His aloof demeanor belied his troubled financial situation. Lila discovered he had significant debts, and the allure of a hidden treasure might have been too tempting for him to resist. Amidst her investigation, Lila also encountered Amelia, a melancholic figure who confessed to once being in love with the now-deceased man. Amelia spoke of a bitter end to their relationship, filled with regret and unresolved feelings. As Lila pieced together the stories, patterns began to emerge. The stolen artifact seemed less about wealth and more about power, legacy, and lost love. With the pendant and the cryptic note as her guide, Lila believed the final piece of the puzzle lay in the place where music meets moonlight. Recalling the evening's events, Lila's thoughts turned to the balcony overlooking the garden, where a piano sat, often played during summer soirees. As the mansion's clock struck midnight, Lila headed for the balcony, hoping to uncover the truth before the night was over. The balcony, bathed in silver moonlight, was eerily quiet. The faint melodies from the ballroom below whispered through the night air as Lila approached the grand piano. It was an exquisite piece, its dark wood glistening, the keys white and pristine. She remembered the clue, where music meets moonlight. Searching the piano, her fingers brushed a key that felt out of place. Pressing it, a hidden compartment sprung open, revealing another piece of the artifact, a rose-shaped key. As Lila inspected the key, a voice interrupted her thoughts. "I thought I might find you here." She turned to find Amelia, her face a mix of sadness and resolve. The two women faced each other, the weight of the evening's events hanging heavily between them. Amelia confessed that the murdered man had discovered the truth about the artifact and had planned to sell it, betraying its legacy and the memory of the love story it symbolized. In a fit of passion and desperation, Amelia had confronted him, leading to the tragic events of the night. Lila, sympathetic yet firm, persuaded Amelia to come forward and face the consequences. The two women descended to the ballroom, the artifact's pieces united once more, symbolizing the restoration of Rose Hill's legacy and the tragic price of its preservation. The night's mysteries unraveled, Lila left the mansion as dawn began to break, the first light of day casting long shadows behind her. The tales of Rose Hill, both tragic and hopeful, would be immortalized through her words, ensuring that its stories, like its artifacts, would never be lost again.